We have confirmed 2 LX600 and 1 LS500 and a bunch of Toyota Tundras with blown engines. The failure comes from a front main bearing in the engine actually failing. Is the GX550 next? This is coming from a Lexus technician. The guy's been a Lexus tech for 20 years, and this is the first time that he's ever seen main bearing failures in any Lexus, and he's seen 3 of them. And this is coming from Tinker's Adventure on YouTube. I'm doing an engine right now on an LX600 with 20,000 miles, main bearing issues. This is the exact same front main bearing issue that the Tundras have. Let's watch this real quick.
An LX600, which has the same V35A, came in for main bearing issue. The main bearings are what holds the crankshaft in place. When the main bearings wear out prematurely, the crankshaft, which holds all the torque, will start racketing violently. Okay. There are also reports of the same issue on the 3rd gen Tundra.
On the main bearings, they used to use a resin overlay or coating on the bearings. Now they're using a metal overlay on these bearings because they projected that there would be more load due to the turbocharged engine. And this is actually where I think the failures might be happening. There may be a problem with this new design. Watch this piece.
The main bearing caps were also updated. It says cast iron crank caps embedded in the AL casting.
Now, this is very important. This is how almost every engine in the past has been designed. You have these crank caps right here, and they're all individual. There's your cap, and each one of these bearings would have its own cap, and it's individually sort of fastened to that point in the block, and that's a very big change in comparison to what you're going to see here.
In comparison, the new engine combines all 4 crank caps into one large structure. Toyota calls it a ladder frame. I
think, and this is complete speculation, have no idea if this is why this is occurring, but I predict that they're going to probably change this structure somehow, or they're going to maybe have to go back to the old style with these just having individual caps. I could see a scenario where these front bearings they're getting spun and they're getting a little bit more load on them. It would only take just like 1/1000th of a little bit of extra pressure from some sort of torque in this engine or the block or something just being, it could be a malformed cast, it could be something off just by 1/1000th of an inch. I don't think it's what other people have said in the past. I've heard people say that it could be an oiling issue, or it could be that the bearings are bad from the factory. It was a bad batch of bearings. I don't think it's a bad batch of bearings. If it was a bad batch of bearings, we wouldn't be seeing this issue in 2022s, 23s, and 24s. Looking at this entirely new design, I had no idea that they went away from kind of a traditional cap design and they integrated it all into this beefy ladder frame. It seems like a good idea on paper, but maybe this is the cause of the problem.
The design intent was to increase rigidity and robustness. So in theory, the new main bearings are supposed to be better. But somehow, we seem to have more failures on this specific part. And there's no official explanation on why the bearing is like that?
No.
Okay.
We would just replace the short block and hope that nothing else got damaged and go from there.
Okay.
It's a case-by-case scenario. It's not like, okay, this is an issue, this is what we're going to do to fix it.
This part was extremely interesting, though.
Maybe it was overblown a bit. But here's an anecdotal perspective for you. Chris had worked at Lexus for 20 years. Out of all the vehicles that came into his dealership, he had only seen 2 main bearing issues. And both were V35A-FTS. And right before I was about to post the first version of this video, I got another message from Chris. He just got his 3rd main bearing failure. As of right now, April 2024, this is still a developing story.
Looking at these sales numbers from Lexus on the LX, in 2023 you only have 6,959, and then in 2024 we have 2,288. So they're not selling a lot of these vehicles. And this is only one Lexus technician that's deciding to, come out and talk about it. And now it is getting out into the media a little bit more. You have to extrapolate that out. There's more than just 2 failures out of this. So just like the Tundras, I think it's a bigger problem than Toyota's leading on, and they're probably trying their best to fix it and figure out what's going on. But it started in 2022, went to 2023, and now 2024. It tells me that I think it could be something in that integrated cast piece. And maybe that's why it hasn't been fixed yet, because that would be a very difficult thing to fix as far as a manufacturing problem if that's the case. And this just keeps occurring in the Tundra forum. If you look at this technician's notes from a Toyota dealership on what happens, he removed the engine, tore it down, and found main bearing has come out of the front of the engine block, found damage to the vacuum pump, camshaft, cam cradles, metal in the turbos, replaced the short block camshafts, cam gears, valve covers, cam cradles, vacuum pump. So he actually went through and replaced almost everything. He didn't just take all those old parts off that may or may not have metal in them and put them back on this new short block. So this looks like a very thorough fix from the latest post that I found in these forums. But gosh, you wouldn't want to have this done to a vehicle that's this new. What a nightmare. When you look for the main bearing on the Toyota Sequoia, you'll find this little note at the bottom of this on Toyota Parts Direct. If your 2022 Sequoia has developed a knocking or tapping sound coming from your engine, you could have a faulty crankshaft main bearing. Maybe this is common on these parts websites to list the symptoms out, but they specifically call out the 2022 Sequoia. When you look at how this engine was designed, it's very good design on paper, right up until the point where they have main bearing failures. They really went through a lot of what the other manufacturers struggled with and had problems with and tried to build something robust and reliable. For example, the cylinder block, they put these thin cast iron liners on each of these cylinders. They have spacers in the water jacket. And one other really cool design on this engine was the way they integrated the exhaust manifold into this head area. The water jacket is actually divided in the head into 2 levels. The volume of antifreeze concentrated in the lower part helps cool the combustion chamber. And then at the same time, they have the integrated exhaust manifold is also cooled, which reduces the temperature of the exhaust gases upstream to the turbocharger. They've done a lot of really good engineering on this engine. I will link to the Tinker's Adventure down below so you can watch that whole engineering kind of focus on this topic. Mine is more of a, oh crap, stay away from these vehicles until they get this figured out take on these. But he has a much more engineering focused. He speaks with the engineers at Toyota. Toyota really did their homework in developing the engine, and a lot of the things that they built into this engine are really robust. In theory, they should last a long time, but we all know that theories don't always play out perfectly in the real world. So we'll see what happens to this engine, and over time, I have a feeling Toyota will come through this and maybe in the refreshed version of the Tundra and all these vehicles, this problem will be a thing of the past. They have the money to do it. They are one of the largest, or if not the largest, manufacturer of cars on the planet. So they're going to fix it. It's just a matter of how long will it be before it's fixed. And right now, in 2024, it hasn't been fixed yet. So I'll keep you updated on this channel, and hopefully Tinker's Adventure will get us an update on the engineering side of things as well. It's not common for Lexus and Toyota to have catastrophic engine failures like this. This is not what they do. Let me know if you like this video, and I'll keep you guys updated. Until next time.